This week,
we're with the next generation of bot builders, and they're not who you think they are.
plus this may be music to your ears if you're a tabla player. The computerised version is now upon us.
And the scammers targeting Chinese people with threats of extradition as deepfake police officers demand bail money.
There's no chance I can know that's not real. It's so convincing.
I just love robotics.
Building this from nothing is quite rewarding.
We ended up winning quite a few awards last year, which I was very proud of.
This is Caitlin, Gisem, Emily, and this is Axel. And together with another dozen students from Bournemouth School for Girls, they are Team Ultraviolet.
Have you got room for a little one?
They've been working during lunchtimes and school holidays to build a robot to compete in a national competition called the First Tech Challenge UK. Each year, participating schools and other groups of young people are sent an enormous kit of parts and asked to design a robot that can race against other bots to collect plastic hexagons, called pixels, in an arena, and then do a whole load of other mind-bending tasks too.
Now, in the grand final at the National Championships, the task is this. The robots have to spend the first 30 seconds driving around autonomously and dropping one of these pixels onto a predetermined point that's only just been chosen before the clock starts running. The next 90 seconds are spent being manually driven around and depositing as many of these pixels as possible into the target boards over there. Then the things have to do pull-ups on these bars and also launch a paper aeroplane at a line just outside the arena. Got it? Good.
It's a complicated brief, and it means that there are many different robot designs that might do the job.
What's the brush for?
To get the pixels in. Because with a claw, you have to be precise of where the claw goes down to clean it up, whereas a brush, as it constantly moves and moves, it will always just be pushing it in. There's going to be a box here, the pixel is going to lift it and then onto the board that's behind.
So it's a kind of catapult?
Yeah, basically, but we're hoping that it's not going to chuck away.
Okay, I stood in the wrong place today, didn't I?
The aim of this competition is to get more students interested in science, technology, engineering and maths, STEM, and specifically to attract a more diverse range of entrants into a field that is overwhelmingly white and male.
There's about 24–25% of the current STEM workforce that are women. You often see folks who are neurodiverse, you have, for example, young people who have autism, they have brilliant qualities that they can bring into the STEM landscape, but there's a massive underrepresentation there.
I would have thought those people would be drawn to it and very good at STEM, and so I'm surprised that they are underrepresented.
It's a huge shame. One thing that we've seen through our programme itself is that actually they get to learn in a different way. It's student-led. So if they have a special interest, something that really drives them, they're allowed to flourish in that space. It's difficult to do in a classroom setting because you've got a curriculum to follow, you move on from one area of focus to another.
So how do you get non-typical pupils involved in this?
For us, it's the connection between STEM meeting sport, so making it as fun and exciting as you would, you know, a football match, for example, or a music festival.
The interesting thing, though, about this competition is that to attract a wider range of students with a wider range of interests, it is, as its slogan suggests, about more than robots.
They don't have to just challenge themselves in terms of building a robot, mechanics, the design. They also have to develop a business plan, a strategy with the game itself, plan their own outreach with younger primary school children, fundraise.
How hard have they been working?
Very hard. Many hours every week and making me work hard as well.
And we've checked out your merch as well.
Yeah, the hats, we made those in the coach on the way to the first competition.
have you noticed any difference between girls' teams, boys' teams and mixed teams?
Oh, absolutely. I don't want to be biased. I think all of our teams are amazing, but something I see in the quality of all girls' teams is they are so holistic in their approach in terms of they work really cohesively as a team. Of course, you have fallouts and you have, you have to resolve problems and challenges along the way, but they very much look at all the moving parts and assess actually how do we do that really well together.
OK, it's time to test today's upgrade with Axel's driver, Emily.
And I notice, as with so many robots these days, that's a standard games controller that you're using. So that's what I guess you've grown up being used to.
Surprisingly, I wasn't used to this. So initially, we recruited drivers based on their sort of video game experience because they would be familiar with a controller like this, but I'm not.
But somehow you're better.
Yeah.
Am I right in saying the planning for this year's competition started on the bus on the way home from last year's competition?
There was a notes app on someone's phone that was filled with all the things we could have done better.
And I tell you what, that is proper project management. So, you know, hats off to all of you.
Now, there is one task that will get a load of points if Axel can pull it off, or should that be pull itself up. But can it lift its 11 kilogram weight off the ground? No. There's a problem. Will all these things be fixed in the weeks before the final? We'll find out when we go to the finals later in this programme.
So you know those annoying messages you get on your phone? Me and my British Chinese friends have been getting ones like this for years.
你好，英国移民局，你的签证异常，请与我们联系。
Some of these messages, like this one just now, tell me that I have to call them back because there's a problem with my visa or that there's a problem with a parcel that I've just sent. But me and my friends, we know that this is fake and this is a pretty basic scam, so we just ignore them. But now things have escalated. Some criminals have taken these scams to a terrifying new level.
A huge criminal industry is targeting Chinese people around the world, exploiting their respect and fear for authority. The scam starts with one of those calls, and very quickly the victim finds themselves talking to somebody who says they are a Chinese police officer. Helen was born in China and has lived in London for 30 years. Last summer she got a phone call saying Chinese customs had stopped an illegal parcel sent in her name. Helen hadn't sent anything, so she's already suspicious when she's transferred to a policeman who introduces himself as Officer Fang.
So after talking, say, how do I know you're real police? So they switch on WhatsApp.
On a video call, Helen sees a uniformed man who flashes a police ID. He then uses his phone to give her a tour of his location.
Seems like 2-3 policemen working there with uniform, and one receptionist will stand up there with a desk with police logo.
So what he was showing you looked like a real police station?
Yes, it looks very real to me.
Whilst they're talking, Officer Fung gets a message over the station tannoy. He has to take a call about Helen. When he comes back, he's not interested in the illegal parcel anymore. He says he's been told that Helen's on their most wanted list. She's suspected of running a massive financial fraud in China.
I panic. I said, that's not true. He said, everyone said not true. No one said they're guilty.
Officer Fung says if she's innocent, she must help them catch the real crooks. Helen's made to sign a confidentiality agreement, and she's ordered to download an app so they can listen in on what she's doing.
If you tell anyone, you're already being interviewed by Chinese police. Your life is in danger.
These are the fake official documents that the scammers sent to you?
Yes. This one said, I am involved with international money laundering and prime suspect.
Helen is told her accomplices have made statements naming her as their boss. Things get even worse when the scammers say they have a taped confession.
So they sent this video to you?
Yes.
What do they say?
How did you launch the money? Who gave you order? So this guy is pointed me, it's me, Miss Yang.
Oh, he just said your name?
Yes. So he said, Miss Yang order me to do this criminal case. But
How does that make you feel? Like,
but that
he
moment-
just said your name.
But that moment I was trembling because he looks real to me. So it's convinced me I'm in deeper trouble.
We've taken a closer look at the video. The suspect's COVID mask makes it impossible to tell if his lips match what you're hearing. So it would be easy to add a fake soundtrack naming Helen or any other victim.
This one is the extra dice.
But for Helen, it seems all too real. And she believes Officer Fang when he tells her she's going to be extradited to China, even though she's a British citizen.
So you go 24 hours, you pack your bag, everything, please will coming to take you to airport.
This is the moment the scammers have been working up to. Helen is told she can halt her extradition if she pays bail money. So she sends them her life savings of £29,000. But a few days later, the fake police are back, demanding even more money.
They say, we want you borrow $250,000 as a bail fund. I say, how on earth I will raise $250,000? I don't have money.
But when Helen tries to borrow money from a friend, he alerts her daughter, who tells Helen she's been scammed.
I feel a bit stupid right now, but to think about it, there's no chance I can know that's not real. It's so convincing.
Helen's story is extraordinary, but it's not unique.
There have been so many of these scams around the world that Chinese embassies, like this one here in London, have been issuing warnings to the public. They are telling Chinese speakers not to respond to any messages claiming to be the Chinese authorities. And they say the Chinese police would never ask people to send them money.
Many of these scams are thought to be run by Chinese criminals operating from compounds in countries like Myanmar, Cambodia, and Laos. Chinese state media has been reporting that tens of thousands of suspects have been returned to China over the last year. But there are worrying signs the scamming industry is learning new tricks.
We're seeing this evolution really accelerate over the past few months with the new technology being adopted, especially artificial intelligence.
We found deepfake technology for sale in a Telegram group, promoted here as a way of appearing like a Chinese police officer.
We're seeing scams being done using deepfake videos, people being called by family members or police officers, and basically not able to determine whether that's the real person or not.
Back in London, Helen's putting her life back together. Her bank refunded the money she lost, but Helen is still haunted by her ordeal.
It's a nightmare. I still have nightmare about that. If something coming to you suspect, put the phone down. I really hope no one will go through what I've been through. It's terrible.
And if you've been affected by issues raised in this film, details of support are available at bbc.co.uk/actionline.